Hey, how's it going? It's Joshua Palmer here from ptstartupsecrets.com, and today is a slightly different video. I've managed to get my hands on some confidential information to detail the plans for when lockdown is over and essentially reveal what things might look like when the gyms come back and things are slowly back to normal and when we get back to business. So I'm going to pick up the best bits of information for us trainers and what's relevant for trainers across the country. Now, why I think this PureGym document is so relevant is, well, for all trainers, is because PureGym is the leading fitness company or fitness gym in the UK. Has the most gyms and it's the biggest corporation, probably one of the biggest in Europe and amongst some of the biggest in the world. And as we'll get into the rest of this document, you'll see how PureGym are interacting with governments around the world, some of the leading gyms and corporations around the world as well. So you know what's in this document is going to apply to a lot more than just PureGym personal trainers. Anyway, let's get straight into it. So PureGym it's not just PureGym they own gyms in other countries as well, including Switzerland, Denmark and Poland. So, big business. And you can see from the outset, PureGym has just over 140 million worth of cash available. And they're burning 4 million a week. So, to my calculations, that's about 32 weeks of cash available. Now we are in June, and this was published in end of May. So, if the gyms are opening in 4 weeks, as is predicted in this form, then there's definitely nothing to worry about. And in terms of the nature of this presentation and the meeting that came with it, I managed to get access to the notes as well. No one's worried. Everyone's relaxed, which is good. And as you can see, PureGym entered lockdown in a period of strength, of lots of money, and they've cut down their expenses, and the government is covering a lot of that as well. Not just in the UK, but across other gyms as well. And just before lockdown, there was 269 sites open for PureGym. So you can see they're growing rapidly. Big gym. Okay. I don't think this is too... So yeah, you can see here, don't want to go too much into this, but the government is paying a lot of PureGym's expenses, so they're comfortable and they've reduced their output down to 4 million in a week. And this is more financial information, not so relevant, but they're comfortable basically. Okay, again, more finance. Okay, so you can see from here that PureGym, they estimate in the UK to open within the first 2 weeks of July. You can see from this chart here. So that's the estimation. And from the meeting, it was the CEO was aware of the reports of that gyms might not be open till October. So he was very aware of that. But luckily, PureGym have such a big company, have so much pulling power, and they've been working with different trade organizations to get that pulled back. So he anticipates first 2 weeks of July. You can see Switzerland, they were open from the 11th of May, so they've been open for a while. Poland, they've been open. They were already open. They're due to open any time now. Sorry, they're due to open any time now. So you can see the future. They anticipate the future looking bright and us getting back to business soon. And you can see around the world how gyms are beginning to open. The US opening state by state. Planet Fitness have 500 sites open already. You can see in Sweden, gyms never closed. And basically gyms all around the world are starting to open up now. Dubai, and I think the gyms in Dubai and Italy are open as we speak. And gyms in Spain are, you know how bad the situation was in Spain, and they're looking to open up soon as well. So we're a little bit behind, but hopefully we'll be back as they anticipate. And you can see some of the standards that are going to be put in place. And a lot of this is actually being practiced right now based on the gyms that PureGym own in Switzerland. So this is interesting. This is the first bit of interesting stuff for us. So in terms of group exercise in Switzerland, that's limited to 5 participants. So this is interesting, as if classes have been a great way to get clients for yourself, as it has for me, then it's not going to be such a suitable option for the initial meantime, because you are going to only see 5 people in a class potentially. The positive side to that, though, is that those 5 people in the class are going to be mega interested in help. They are not caring about COVID-19 whatsoever. So if they're going to be hitting the spin class post-COVID, they're going to have no problems in being in the gym and wanting help. So that could be a good thing. And if you're open to doing those classes, then that can be great, because sometimes it's not all about having numbers. Sometimes I've done multiple classes in a row where there's been 30 members and haven't picked up anyone. But I've done a couple classes where there was under 10 people and I've picked up in each one. So this could be really good potentially, because you're filtering out the time wasters. People in a group exercise class post-COVID have a pain and a problem and they need that solved right now. So if you present your class and your offer in a way that excites them and appeals to them, then that could be easy clients right there. And you can see all of these cleaning measures. So these measures will be good. No more sweaty benches. I'm sure if you have been training in a PureGym or any similar gym for any amount of time, they haven't had any cleaning equipment for forever. And for me, it was a big shock coming from another gym. I used to train at Gym Box, and then I went back to a PureGym, and yeah, no sprays, no nothing to wipe down. So as a personal trainer, I would always keep some antibacterial wipes on me. So if someone left a piece of equipment sweaty, I would wipe it down. Just as part of, it's hard. If a bench is soaking wet, you're going to tell your client to jump on there. It's not very nice. And towards the end of March, before lockdown, I was actually carrying Dettol on me and spraying. So that's going to be handy. And that was the case before lockdown anyway. And it's interesting to notice that the showers and locker rooms are going to be open, which is good. Because if you're in a gym which has members who work in an office, or they want to work out when they start their day and they don't want to go home, it's good that that option is there. So it means that people who do work in offices it'll still be suitable for people that need to train on their lunch break, for example, need to shower. So that's a very good sign. And for yourself as well, to make sure that you stay in the gym, that you are always where you need to be to make money. Having those showers there are really are excellent as well, because when I started showering in the gym, I made tons more money than when I wasn't. It's just crazy. Just because you're there where the money is and not going home. So, and actually part of PureGym have actually recruited some top experts, medical experts, for part of their reopening panel, COVID-19 panel. So when the gym opens, it's going to be safe. And this is something you can tell your existing clients as well. Or if there are any PureGym members watching this and you haven't had access to this, then you know that a company like PureGym will have access to the best minds in the business when it comes to safety and medical safety. So that's something good to know. And also the restriction limit, so 10 square meters per person. Now, the CEO said that that would limit roughly members to 150 to 170 at any time, which is not, that's still quite a lot of people. And if you think about the amount of equipment in a gym, there probably isn't much more than that. If you think about treadmills and bikes and dumbbells and at full capacity. So that's a good thing. So I don't think, I don't think that's going to really make a huge difference. I guess the 2 minute separation is going to be something that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But overall, pretty positive. So next we have the amount of members that are still at PureGym. So at the end of May, so not too long ago, there's still over 80% of members are still with PureGym. So members are still there. Their memberships are frozen. And what's interesting to notice is the peak. So if you look to the top right, you can see the peak of UK leavers right here. So everyone was leaving just before lockdown or just after lockdown. So lockdown was on the 21st of March, I believe. And you can see crazy amount of people leaving. And then I believe PureGym would have frozen memberships around here. So, and it's interesting to notice how PureGym expect people to be leaving all the time. And that's interesting as a personal trainer because it's always frustrating when your clients leave. But once you get a bit of experience, you realize that that's just part of the game. Number one, you might have got a client to their goals. They've done their holiday and they're fine. They might have to move area. They might have to move gyms. Priorities might change. And just understanding that and going with the flow just makes life easier for yourself. You can battle with clients and plead with them to stay and question their commitment to why they're leaving. But it's just part of the business and it's part of working at PureGym as well. If you've read my book, The Low Cost Gym PT Business Success Guide, I talk about operating in a gym where there is no contract, and it is part of the business. And it works for PureGym, it works for me, and you need to make it work for yourself as well if you want to continue working in a PureGym. So essentially, PureGym have managed to maintain and retain a lot of members. So when things open back up, there's still 80% of the members are still with PureGym, which is excellent. And people will come back with time. It's just something that's going to happen. And on this sheet, we go more into the demographics. So, and what this might mean for you. So club attendance, based on the gyms in Switzerland that PureGym owns, they're down about a third, down to between 65 to 70%, which is obviously expected, right? Straight after lockdown. And what you'll notice to the bottom left is that the peak times there's no more peak times. So if you look 6:30, 7:30, the grey line is before and the green line is now. And it's basically steady throughout the day. And that is really interesting because that means that you're going to have members floating in the gym throughout the whole day now versus everyone coming in the evening for peak time. So on a positive side, this means that your dead hours, so maybe there's hours in the gym. So in my gym, between 9 and 11:30 is pretty dead, or was pretty dead before lockdown. Between 2 and 5 p.m. was also pretty dead. So it's going to be steady throughout the day because the governments are going to be encouraging employers and companies to encourage flexible working patterns. So not everyone's going to be on a 9 to 5 now where they have to come either before work or after work. They're going to be allowing people to do what they need to do throughout the day. Maybe they'll take their breaks earlier, come back later. Maybe they'll be leaving the office at 8, starting at 10 a.m. Who knows? But it's going to be a lot more flexible. So this is going to be good because instead of only having, let's say you do hour slots and you only have two or 3 hours. Let's say you only have 3 hours in peak times between 5 and 8 p.m. and the rest of the day is pretty dead. Now this is going to be split up across, this is going to be spread across the whole day. So if you're fully booked from 5 to 6 and there are loads of people that want your help but can't, you're going to be seeing a lot of these members earlier in the day as well. So that's a really good sign. So And that's the difference between making some money and a lot of money, is when your dead times are busy. That is when you can start making a lot of money. Because most trainers can fully book their peak times. It shouldn't be hard. If you don't have any clients on a Monday evening between 5 and 8, then you should question what you're doing. But you can generally be excused for not having any clients on a 10 a.m. on a Monday morning. So having this spread out throughout the day is going to be fantastic. Now, if we go to the top right, you will see that slightly more males are coming back earlier than females post-lockdown in Switzerland. And I guess maybe guys are less worried about catching the virus coming back. Maybe they're more desperate for the gains coming back. A few reasons, but it's a few percent. And what's even more interesting, if you look at the top right, you've got, if you go by age, the members so far coming back after lockdown are a lot younger. And versus, so only 60% of people over 44 are back in the gym versus last year where it was a full quarter, 25%, a full quarter of people that were in the gym that were over 44. And I suppose as a personal trainer, generally the older the client, the more money they do have. If you've ever tried to sell a student or a 19 or 20-year-old, you know it's a lot harder than selling someone who's in their mid-30s or mid-40s. It seems like the age range between 25 and 44 is still healthy. It's still the same. So that's excellent. So don't worry too much about that. And it's interesting, PureGym, the CEO was saying how PureGym, their member base is mainly on average 27 to 28-year-olds. So I don't think that's going to shift at all. And me personally, I have clients. I would say my average client age is about 29 years old as well. So I think that's the most relevant information here. And you can see the people. Okay, that's not so relevant. Okay, let's move on. So you can see what gyms might look like when they reopen. And what does this mean for us personal trainers getting clients? So what's interesting to see is how, if we go straight to the cardio, a lot of the cardios will be blocked off. So they're going to be screened off, number one, and half of them will not be in service according to this outline in this document. So if you're like me and you do snap up a bunch of clients on the cardio equipment, this does cause another challenge, but it's all about adapting. So be in a position where people are traveling around the gym to the cardio equipment, away from it. And it might be helpful. You will need to be willing to adapt with the times. And if you need to wear a face mask or a face shield, do whatever you need to do to make members comfortable to interact with you. Because personal training is it's personal. You need to be speaking to people face to face. You need to be in a level of proximity for them to even hear you. If you've got the gym music playing, having a conversation 2-3 meters apart is going to be challenging. So get the gloves on, get the face shield or face mask, and you still will need to find a way to speak to members. So that's something to take into consideration. Half, you can see at the top right, you've got the cable machines. Half are going to be locked off. And these are things we would have noticed just before lockdown anyway. So it was working then, and I'm sure it's going to work again. The classes, as you see, there's going to be spaces. So there's going to be limited numbers in the classes to allow space. Cleaning sanitization stations as well, which is positive. I don't think anyone's complaining about that if you've been working in a PureGym for any length of time. And you can see that the powers that be at PureGym are putting a lot of effort into making sure that it's safe for us as trainers and for our clients as well and members. And you can see here how the influence of PureGym, how they're influencing, contacting the government, letters straight to the PM, to the Prime Minister, to make sure that the gyms aren't stopped and are now going to open in July instead of October, because I'm sure if you had your eye on the news, it was looking pretty bad at one point that, yeah, we wouldn't be open till October. And what was interesting, listening to the CEO, he was saying about how exercise, and they'd be speaking to the Prime Minister about how exercise is such a big part of general health and wellness in society, even the fight against COVID as well, and also the fight against obesity in general. So these issues, so obesity, things like that, cost the government, it's millions. It's got to be millions in terms of pressure on the NHS. I mean, that's real pressure on the NHS. If people are having to go to hospital and have treatments with health-related issues that could have been avoided with a cheap membership and just exercising regularly, it's got to be in the government's best interest. And I feel like PureGym are doing everything they can to outline that to the government. So essentially, that's that. Nothing too remarkable here. But it's just interesting listening to the CEO, listening to the top guys in the gym, and just hearing how they are optimistic that the gyms will open the first couple of weeks of July. And other gyms are opening around the world. And you can tell the pressure. They have pressure by certain shareholders, people that they've invested into PureGym, and they have to answer to in terms of opening up the direct debits. And this will happen. I mean, as a personal trainer, it's probably nothing you need to worry about too much, but people will come back in time. I'm pretty sure that the gyms will be busy again. And it's just about being first. Because if your situation is anything like mine, you would have lost a bunch of clients potentially. I lost a few, but a lot have stayed with me, and will be ready to train whenever the gyms have the green light. But for those clients lost, it's going to be a case of picking back up those numbers that you lost quickly. And as long as you're in the gym doing what you need to do, and you've adapted well, you've got the mask, you've got the face shield, and your members are comfortable to interact with you, and you're following all the right hygiene processes, there's no reason why you can't get busy again. You just have to adapt. And no one knows, essentially. We are going into a world of the unknown, but if you look at the data from other places around the world, people are getting back to it, and you need to be ready as well. So I hope you found this little presentation useful. I dove to get the archives in. I found a way to get these documents from the PureGym Corporation. Let me know your thoughts. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this, how you see this working out for you in your personal training business. Subscribe as well. Give me a thumbs up. And if you want help in terms of how to get your business booming after lockdown, visit my website, ptstartupsecrets.com, and I will catch you on the next one.